I'm done.
Well, you're right.
Okay.
Also from Alpha News, legislators on the House Fraud Committee said they continue to meet with whistleblowers and have referred serious allegations of fraud to authorities. You ready, boys?
Yep.
A tip line designed to collect allegations of fraud in Minnesota government entities received 530 submissions in its first week. According to Republican lawmakers, on Tuesday...
Is it 530 people calling about one single
fraud?
fraud?
No, it's just 530 different frauds, I bet. On Tuesday, Republicans serving on the Fraud Prevention and State Government Oversight Committee of the House held a press conference to talk about the committee's work. The Fraud Committee, which was recently established, is chaired by Representative Kristin Robbins, Republican Maple Grove, and maintains a GOP majority. Because the DFLers, I just beg them to be honest, when you're knocking at the door, just say you want to go there to spend money. Mm-hmm. That's all you want to do. And you'll give as much as possible to nonprofits because you know there's no oversight. Among their efforts, the committee established an online portal at the end of March which allows Minnesotans to report allegations of fraud in state government. The portal acts as a centralized place for fraud committee staff to receive reports of alleged fraud, organize them, and forward those reports to the appropriate entities. Do you think they got the 59 Pontiac ambulance hearse and they raced to the
revved up
scene?
and ready to go.
In the first week of the fraud committee, we had 530 submissions. I haven't even had time to go through them, Robbins said. That's one of our biggest projects after the legislative session ends, is to get through all these submissions. Robbins later told Alpha News that the tip line has received 657 total submissions since it was unveiled in March. Holy mackerel. Yesterday, Robbins noted that her committee continues to meet with fraud whistleblowers and has referred serious allegations of fraud to authorities. But here's the problem. Who are you going to refer it to?
That's what it's just.
Right.
Yeah.
Who in the hell in this state do you trust? You got Cockwomble in the governor's mansion, Governor Tim Cockwomble, and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Look it up, GLers.
Yeah, it's a legitimate word, GLers.
I'm wondering how many of these, you know, when the government, or I shouldn't say government, law enforcement is looking for information on a felony and they open up a tip line and they get 1,000 calls and about 5 of them turn something up. Could it be something like that?
Of course.
Because if it were me, Joe, I would make 20 calls on the DNR alone.
Yeah.
I hate them so much. Every little thing that bothers me would be a new call to this tip line.
Isn't it amazing, too, that this tip line is actually trying to solve a real legitimate problem here in the state of Minnesota, but King Walls opened up a snitch line where you could tell on your neighbor that he was having people over during COVID?
Well, here's the problem. We should be calling Marion Rarick, maybe. She would know.
Definitely.
Let's say that you get a legitimate tip on Department of Education fraud.
All right.
All right. They're slipping more and more money to XYZ school on Main Street in Anoka. Okay. You're going to call the head of the Department of Education? Right now it was Willie Jett. It was Heather Mueller. What is he going to do? These people have a miraculous way of keeping themselves distant from anything their agencies do. And we know that Keith Ellison does not necessarily act on behalf of the agencies when it comes to purported fraud. So who are you supposed to turn to?
We got nothing.
Who are you going to call?
Who are you going to call?
Yeah.
We might be able to get a hold of them. There's a bunch of committees in session right now. That's from what I'm seeing.
You got Marion's number, don't you?
I just sent her a text.
All right.
Okay,
during the
good.
show.
All right. That's fine.
There's a Ways and Mean committee in session right now. Is she on that?
In Minnesota, state governments primarily issue grants in 2 ways, through a competitive process or by legislatively directing funds to go to a specific organization. The bipartisan letter signed by the Fraud Committee members said using a competitive process provides better oversight and more effective at accomplishing policy goals. Yes, I would agree. Only give money after a competitive process. Republicans at the press conference also discussed their experience hearing from different state agencies and the bipartisan work to create a statewide office of the Inspector General. Looking forward, Robbins wants the Fraud Committee to become a normal part of the state legislature's operations in St. Paul, which doesn't say a great deal about the true and ethical nature of the legislature, that you got to make fraud an integral part of it. But in this state, you have to.
Right.
Yeah.
We're getting robbed
You don't have
blind.
a choice.
I haven't heard back from Marion, but I did find the phone number. Should we give it a call on the show?
No. Oh, the fraud phone?
The fraud phone line.
Well, will we get in FCC trouble if I...
No, you just
think
leave
it's
a
a
message.
recording.
It's a recorded line, and you just leave a message.
That's it? You leave a message?
Let's call in Dan Barrero. Come on, let's call in Danny.
Yes. For theft. He's been stealing parts of the show for 25 years. It's audio thievery.
I'm going to apologize right now, Dan.
Thank you for calling the MN Department of Human Services
Yeah, I got
provider
something to tell
and
you.
recipient tip or referral line. Your
Yeah,
tips and referrals
I
are
wanna talk to
incredibly
Governor
valuable, and we
Cockwomble.
appreciate your efforts to help us stop fraud and abuse.
Hey,
Please provide as much information about your
yeah,
tip
your
or
Governor
referral as
Cockwomble's a
possible.
bad guy.
Include names of organizations and persons involved, dates of any specific instances, and as much information about the incident or activity as possible.
All right.
Hang
While you
up.
can remain
hang up.
anonymous,
You
we
can-
request you provide your name and contact information. If you don't provide your contact information,
Okay, I'll leave an
DHS
information.
may not be able to investigate your concerns or get all the information needed to complete an investigation.
All right.
Every provider or recipient
Is there ever
report
gonna
we
be a
receive
beep?
is important and will be
Leave
reviewed
Tom's
by the
name.
Office of Inspector
Tell him
General.
you're Tom Bernard.
However,
So we
not
won't
every
get in
submission
trouble.
tip will turn into an investigation.
It's
Due
Tommy
to the
B
volume of
complaining
tips
about
and
Danny.
referrals, it is not possible to contact every
Hell, this
complainant.
message is 3 minutes long.
I
Please
forgot
leave
what
a
I called
message
about.
after the tone.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like John
When you
Knight's
have
News
finished,
Open.
please hang up.
There we go.
The message was so long I forgot why I called. This is Joe Souchere of Garage Logic Podcast.
Oh, boy.
We are rooting mightily for you in the Fraud Detection Committee, and we're sorry that you have to wait until after the legislative session to even read through them. We hope you succeed. We're rooting